Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren.
Hello and welcome to Klar TV, valued viewers. In our broadcast from the 3rd of March 2015 concerning the Minsk peace treaty, we asked the following question. Are not peace treaties often made in order to be broken again, and this often through a third unknown party? Under the guise of a broken peace treaty, then further economic or military measures are justified. This same pattern seems to be confirming itself again in the Ukraine conflict. Both sides accuse each other of disregarding the Minsk peace treaty from February 12, 2015. The Ukrainian army says this makes the withdrawal of troops impossible. The bombing incident in Charkov from the 21st of February 2015 also brings up questions. In Ukraine's second biggest city, Charkov, 300 pro-Ukrainian demonstrators fell victim of a remote-controlled bomb explosion, which injured 11 and killed 4 people. Presi-dent Poroschenko criticized the attack as, I quote, an attempt to spread the influence of terrorism. The perpetrators, however, are still unknown. Yet could it be that the bombing comes at an opportune time for the president, who can now further show military strength? It is no secret that Poroshenko is under extreme pressure, as Swiss TV SRF reported on February 20, 2015. Political representatives of the right sector and the so-called voluntary battalions lay down the conditions that Poroshenko must not shrink back and must show military strength. Otherwise, I quote, if necessary, storming Kiev comes next. We dealt in more detail with this in our media commentary from March 3, 2015. You'll find it under this date in our English broadcasts. The eyewitness report we just received here at Klar TV seems to also confirm that Poroshenko is hardly interested in keeping the Minsk peace agreement, but rather interested in a military solution. The report came from a Ukrainian woman now living in Germany who asked us to make the situation known. She is confronted with it daily due to the fact that most of her relatives and parents live there. The day-to-day situation of these people is overshadowed by fear. No one knows what they might have to face next. But hear for yourself what this woman reports. What is the Minsk treaty worth? Is everything pointing to peace now? Unfortunately, it's not. The mass mobilization of troops going on now in Ukraine speaks a totally different language. In the meantime, all kinds of men are being randomly drafted, including those who are not liable for military service and have a stamp indicating this in their ID cards. My brother, for example, who is actually officially ineligible, this is also stamped in his ID. He may only officially be drafted if war is declared and a general draft for all men is ordered. This is officially not the case in Ukraine. Officially, up until today, the media in Ukraine and in the West only speak of a Ukraine conflict or of an ATO, an anti-terror operation. Neither war nor civil war is mentioned. Is that possibly because the conditions for the IMF international credit, which is being applied for presently, clearly specify that the country applying must not be at war or declare war? One way or another, the cards are not being played openly here. I ask myself why the Ukrainian men are being mobilized by force. If there's no war, what are they dying and being made into cripples for? The fact that such a draft is completely illegal shows that the Ukraine has developed rapidly towards a bloody dictatorship, which demands increasing amounts of victims. My brother told me that heavily armed men are going through the towns and cities, forcing men at gunpoint, at their workplaces or at their homes, to join the military. Fortunately, my brother could escape the heavily armed forces from the draft office on the day they showed up at his workplace, because he came late. Called and warned by his work colleagues, he could escape from being forcefully drafted. He had to leave everything behind now and flee to Russia, the country which from the very beginning of this war has taken in and helped fleeing Ukrainians. Russia, which is constantly being presented as the aggressor, stretches out a helping hand and offers, since recently, official refugee status and residency possibility to those conscientious objectors. Putin himself officially offered this in a speech. And I hope that as many as possible take advantage of this possibility, because like this, they not only save their own lives, but also through their conscientious objection, they make it more and more difficult for the regime in Kiev to, at the cost of the Ukrainian people, continue to enforce this bloody war. Imagine if war were declared and no one went. Oh, how much the Ukrainian people wish for this. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask the same question again, an important one to keep track of. Which groups are profiting from the broken peace treaty or bombing attack and reveal themselves as the true warmongers? These and their puppeteers behind the curtains should be revealed and stopped. For not only the people of Ukraine wish for what U.S. poet and historian Carl Sandburg once said, I quote, "Imagine that war is declared and nobody goes." In light of this, we hope to greet you again soon here at KTV. See you then.